Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the Lotus Pod. Just as a reminder, I'm Katie and I'm with Dave today.
What up? I'm Dave, aka Bishop.
Yep, I'm aka Koalia.
Yeah, we just put out our third new track.
Yes, we
Which
did.
are our hip-hop aliases for anyone that's thinking, why are you naming yourself that? This is
Yeah, like who are these alter egos that we have?
figures. I feel like you've put more time and energy into your alter ego than I put into mine. Mine's still like fresh out the womb sort of thing. Like I haven't really put any idea, personality into the word, name, persona.
You're just working on your prayers.
Yeah, not even working on my prayers.
Oh,
I know. But,
you need to live up to this name, Bishop.
But like Bishop could be done. I feel like it could be like a reference to the chessboard, or it can just be a reference to the fact that I'm always preaching to like me and my
You
friends.
are, yeah. But
Yeah,
also,
a
isn't
bit.
the chessboard Bishop based off an actual bishop?
I think it is. Yeah.
But either way, you'd be making moves.
Yeah.
So it works.
Do you ever watch Vikings? You ever see a guy called
No.
Bishop Haidman?
I haven't watched it because I feel that it's a bit too violent for me.
It's definitely got a lot of murder porn in there.
Yeah.
But not as much as Game of Thrones, I feel, but it's got more violence that makes sense. Whereas Game of Thrones was just violence for the sake of violence in some
I
sense.
feel like I tried to watch it and the first scene was just this massive battle where it was really gruesome. And I was just there like, this is a bit much.
The Viking era was pretty gruesome.
But it's hot.
And
like
the
the main guy with the, what are they called? The cornrows?
Yeah.
The Viking rose?
Plays Ragnar Lothbrok. He's Australian. He's from
Oh my God.
He's from like Queensland, and he sounds like the biggest bogan. Like there's videos of people interviewing him at like a pub, and he's the most like rugby loving bogan dude. I was so taken back. I was like, you're from like you're a Queenslander.
I guess rugby's kind of a battle though, so I can
is.
see how that like would tie in.
I played rugby in high school.
Did you?
For many years, for like 6 years.
Were you good at it?
I was decently good at it, especially when I was in grade 7, grade 8, because I was such a unit because I was so tall. And
You were one of those tall
I was
kids.
such a unit. They wanted me to play in the year above me, so I was like year 8 playing with like the year 9s in the senior school,
Whoa,
which was a lot of fun. Our team was undefeated for like 4 years, which was nice.
that's pretty solid.
And then
What was the name of your team?
It was just like for our school, so it was just like my school name.
Oh,
and we versed
okay.
all the other like people in the they call it the APS kind of league, so we're versing like Scotch and St. Kevin's and
Oh, Scotch. Scotch is like the most bougie school in Victoria, isn't
we'd
it?
have to go and travel
Yeah.
there and play there because you had to travel to different campuses and stuff like that. So we'd go to like Haileybury and we'd go to like Wesley and like all these different campuses, and some of them were so far away. But yeah, Scotch was literally
Yeah, that's
like
right.
it felt like being at Hogwarts. It was like its own city.
That's so nice.
Academia's got fuck you money. It's
Yeah.
insane how much money they have. Even like some of the university campuses here.
But it's all sponsorships. Like the parents are sponsoring the schools.
Yeah. Well, I feel like a lot of them just make money from kids like paying for their uni degrees because they're so expensive. So it's like you earn so much money from that. Plus, if it's got like a good research division, so many corporations pay for studies that are favorable to them. So they'll pay like hundreds of thousands of dollars to have these studies.
Are you talking about a university?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even the company I work for paid for a study with the University of Sydney.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the study?
I was on the effects of indoor plants.
The effects of indoor plants.
And how it relates to like working and sick leave and filtering the air and how it gets VOCs out of the air, because then they can use that as a marketing thing of like, hey, officers, you should have indoor plants. And they go, why don't we just get plastic plants? They don't have to fucking water them, which is the thing people always say, which is fucking stupid.
Plastic plants suck.
Plastic plants should be fucking illegal. If nature is
Yeah.
like from Jesus, I feel like plastic plants are like the Antichrist.
There's actually like
It's disgusting.
plastic plants are probably one of my biggest pet hates.
I hate them so much.
I can't even look at them. They're so like, oh, what's the point?
Anyone who has a plastic plant in their house is a massive red flag.
If
for
you're
me.
struggling to water your plant, get a bloody cactus.
Yeah,
It's
fucking
not
right.
that hard. You don't have to water them.
Yeah, but they did this study and they pretty much found that, you know, VOCs, volatile organic compounds, which come from paint, like ammonia from paint or formaldehyde from printing ink and all these, like even furniture, like polish, all these things create toxins in the air. And a lot of buildings are built with terrible ventilation. So it recycles all these, like, especially like newly built buildings, they have all this shit in them. So you have this thing called sick building syndrome, and people get sick from being indoors too much, 60% of which is just a matter of just bad ventilation. The rest is just from toxins in the environment. And when plants are in the space, they filter the air better than anything else, better than HEPA filters, better than carbon filters, and they get rid of all like ethylenes and xylenes out of the air, which drives people taking annual leave and sick leave and stuff down. So it's a good
saving money in the long run.
filled by
But creating jobs for people like you.
like me,
which is exactly what you need in this world.
Nearly got a girl's number at work today.
Really? What happened?
I was like cashing in my because one of my clients is like a shopping center, so I was cashing in my Coles vouchers for my Coles recycling vouchers. Like, you know, when you recycle all the cans and stuff, you get these vouchers and you can cash them in at like Woolworths or Coles or whatever.
Wait,
with that
what?
recycling program.
As in the 10 cent?
Yeah.
They don't even give you just straight cash.
You can get it on an app, but I tried to download the app and it was really complicated to use and I just gave up and I was like, I'll just opt for the voucher one because it prints right out of the machine and then you just...
Do you go to the place for it? Like the box?
Yeah.
And how does it work? You just put... How does it work?
So it has like a big sort of tunnel thing on a conveyor belt. You got to put a can in. It's got like a bunch of scanners inside it and it scans the barcode. And then the barcode sort of identifies if it's a suitable bottle or can or not. And you can do like fucking heaps of them. There was a couple that got rejected. Like I tried doing a big white vinegar bottle and it wouldn't accept that. But most cans and tins and other plastics, it's fine. And then, yeah, it just goes in 10 cents each, 10 cents each. You just keep feeding them in, feed them in, feed them in. And then you just go print voucher. It prints you a voucher. Mine was a Coles one. And then I just took I did it on 2 different days. I took 2 $6 vouchers to Coles today, and I just got $12 in cash. And I was having good banter with the cute Indian girl that worked there. It was like a young, cute Indian girl. And I was just having good banter with her. We had a really good back and forth, and we were like chatting for ages. And then like another customer came in. She's like, "Oh, I got to stop serving you now." And I was like, this close to asking for her number, but
why didn't you?
Because I'm a fucking pussy. That's why.
I know.
Because I'm a goddamn pussy.
We were saying last podcast that you wanted to do more. What do you call it? Organic meetings or whatever it is. Not that you can call Coles organic. Even their organic produce isn't organic. So
cold approaching is, I think,
cold approaching, more like Coles approaching.
Yeah, Coles approaching. God
yeah,
damn.
so keep doing those cans.
Close. I even like went back to see if she was like there later on, but she like I had clocked off work. I imagine because I had a little look around. Which
but this is what I love to hear: men taking action.
Yeah.
I got freaking stood up last night.
What?
Yes.
Really?
I was supposed to go on a date with this guy from Hinge, and like, I'm not a Hinge person.
That's the problem with using the apps.
Like, I just don't. I've been single for 5 years, basically, for anyone that doesn't know that. And so I'm like,
long ass time.
It's
girl.
too long.
To be in your 20s and be single for 5 years.
It's
crazy.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm actually going to really try and go on some dates. Anyway, I put myself out there and we had this date organized. To be fair, I cancelled on him.
What was the date?
We were just going to like get dinner.
Okay.
But initially it was like looking like not so good because
what was the cuisine?
He's like, "Oh, let's just get takeaway." And I'm like, "Dude,
you can't say
can we
that.
not just sit down? Like, what do you mean?" Anyway, I was like, "I'll just go for it anyway." To put it in context, I had cancelled on him the week before, but I gave him notice, like...
How much notice?
Like a day. Which is not ideal.
That's fair enough. I guess if you've never met someone, a day's
yeah, and I was communicating with him the whole time. Anyway, we rescheduled. I honestly, I just woke up and I was like feeling really frazzled. It was that like 42-degree day, and going on a first date on a 42-degree day is crazy business. Rough. So I was just like, nah, we're not doing this. Anyway, it gets to yesterday, and I'd messaged him the night before, and I was like, "Oh, you still keen for tomorrow?" He's like, "Yep, definitely down." It gets to like 5:30 last night. I messaged him. I was like, "What time are we meeting?" And I'd messaged him throughout the day as well. He did not reply.
He's ghosted you.
My theory is that he's done this out of revenge. Maybe. Like, he's come up with this crazy plan, like, fuck this bitch, like, she cancelled on me, so I'm going to do the same thing. There's no other reason why he would do that.
Or he's just... Like, this is my theory, because I used to have a lot more success in the dating app world than I do currently. And I think it's just because, like, people are just currently in this sort of generation and time more distracted than they ever have been. We're just so, like, overdosing on social interaction that, like, doing something like that of going, unmatch.
Yeah.
I don't want to. It's just so easy.
He didn't even unmatch me, though.
That's so weird.
That's why I have this whole theory that this was his plan all along to, like, get back at me. But I just think it's so rude. Where's the communication? Yeah. I gave up my tennis to go on this date.
I gave up my tennis.
But it's taught me a lesson. Don't give up on things, your regular routine, just to go for a date. Unless you 100% are like, this guy's going to be really awesome.
You definitely keep, if you got a regular routine of stuff, that as a core, you just make plans outside of that. Yeah. Otherwise, you'd be like, fuck, I could have been doing something.
I think I just felt bad that I'd cancelled. So I was like, I'll work around you.
And then he just got you back.
So damn rude. I'm not even annoyed about the guy. I don't care about the guy. I'm just like, don't waste my time.
Yeah, but it's also like, I feel like if you've not met him yet and you've already cancelled once, the stakes have sort of like, you already kind of don't know each other. You don't owe each other shit.
Yeah.
You've already cancelled on him once. Now it's like you kind of really don't owe each other shit either kind of thing. So it's just like the feasibility of just him just going, waking up and maybe doing the same thing and going, fucking not communicating is never okay. Like you should at least tell them like, why not? Even though I've ghosted a couple people in my life before, but it's never like, it's never good. Like,
yeah. I just unmatched him.
Just unmatched
it's not worth my time, and it's already started off on this bad note that it's probably not going to go up from here. The good thing is that I'm not going to give up.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to give it maybe another couple weeks.
Give it a couple of months. Give it a couple of years.
Yeah, but then I'll be gone. I'll be gone from Melbourne.
And you'll keep the hustle going somewhere else.
But like, you've taught me how to communicate really well, because I would go on a date and I was like, I really don't feel the vibe. I don't know what to do. Like, I'd want to just ghost them. And you made me actually send them a message and be like, hey, I'm really sorry. I didn't feel a connection. Think you're a great person though. Good luck. And it just closes that chapter.
Yeah.
And they don't have to waste their time wondering, oh, when should I message, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's good.
I think that's really good.
And it helps you sharpen the skills and the swords of just like learning how to communicate. Like even if there is no connection, it's an opportunity for you to sharpen that skill of communication. So when you find someone you do really like, you're just better able to communicate in all facets of that relationship kind of thing. And you can really communicate things, and it's like those uncomfortable moments of like, I don't want to do it. It's just so much easier to flick people off kind of thing, but it's better to just like practice that in all fields. And it's just like, it's never as hard as we think it is in our head. Like just like me talking to this girl today, it's never as hard as, and me probably like if I manned up and just asked for a number, it's never as hard as I think it is in my head. We always over dramatize how difficulty and how exhausting these things are. But just like you said before, it's just like, I'm not interested. You send them a message, you close it, you move on. You feel better because of it, kind of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, just lay it all out on the table, I say.
But I'm proud of you for getting back in the dating world.
Thank you.
The dating app world sucks, though. I unmatch people if they take more than 4 days to reply.
That's good. That's the thing. It's like, okay, if you're not going to talk to me, then what's the point here? I'm not going to just leave you taking up my phone storage.
I know. And it's just like,
you're not worth it.
I was going back and forth with this girl. We're chatting. It was pretty good. We were like, responding in like a day. And then I said like, look, like I sort of took like 3 days to reply. And I said, look, like I'm not really like, I don't really like being on these apps. I feel like it's very kind of like disingenuous and it's not very real. I prefer to just meet up in person. Would you like to get coffee sometime? She's like, yeah, sure, I'd love to do that. And I'm like, all right, sweet. Like, what's your number so we can arrange it? No reply.
Oh.
I was like, what the fuck? Like, we just had this like banter back and forth. We had this communication back and forth for days. And then you express interest like on the date. And now I'm trying to organize a date and you disappear.
That's so strange.
It's so weird. And shit like that happens all the time. And I feel like I had so much more success back in the day with dating apps, like with Hinge in the early days and all of that. But now it's just like, unless I put a lot of time into these apps, which I don't really do anymore because, side note, I do have a loving, committed girlfriend who's amazing. And we are in a like polyamorous relationship. So this is all very much just side quests for me. And I just like, back where I am at in my life now, I don't have, like old me would be in polyamorous relationships and I would devote a lot of time into sort of my other connections, but now it's just like,
Dave's using his energy for other fields.
Yeah, and that's not saying like I'm not putting energy into these dynamics that are entertaining, but it's also like if you're not coming with mutual interest, it's like what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like, and if you're taking 4 days to reply to someone, why are you matching with them in the first place? Like
I don't see the point.
Why are you on these apps? Like
I'm more leaning now towards hey, I'm not really feeling like small talk. Do you want to just hang out?
Yeah, I vibe that. Try to get off the apps as quick as possible.
Because some people, they hold the idea of, no, I need to call them, I need to FaceTime them before I meet up. And I'm like, I don't have time for that.
Yeah, nah.
I'd rather, I'm a real life kind of hangout person.
Yeah.
There's some people in my life that I'll text and they have to be hilarious when they're texting me.
I feel like FaceTime can be safe though because you can deduce if they're a fucking weirdo. And
yeah.
It's just like, because if you hang out, you're in that shit and that'll take up hours of your time potentially. And it's just like FaceTime can just be like, you can be doing that while doing other stuff. Like I can be FaceTiming while I'm like doing housework. Like essentially.
Yeah, that's fun.
Which is nice. But I feel like a date is just like,
all I hear is like the vacuum in the background. Like
but yeah, this is like, a date, when I go on a date, I'm like getting dressed up, I'm wearing cologne, I'm like, I'm
you.
trying to rizz myself
like
up,
a real
to be
man.
interesting. Yeah, just trying to, show up, not just be like, can I get takeaway?
Okay, give me 3, say you're going on first date, give me 3 first date ideas that you think would be really fun.
Anything that's like low cost. I don't believe in spending like money on the first date.
Okay, so you're not buying the girl dinner?
Usually not on the first date. Because like I don't really know if like you're worth my time yet, kind of thing. Like I don't even know if like we even have much to talk about. Like a dinner's like hectic because you're locked in, like eye to eye kind of thing. Like I'll buy a girl coffee. Like that's chill. Like
under $20, you're paying.
Like under $20 limit, that's fine. Yeah. Like I love gardens, I love walks. Sometimes I like being active, but like going to the gym with them is crazy. So like a walk somewhere nice, like going to a park near my house, botanical gardens near my house or something. That's a cool first date idea. Something like in public so she can feel like safe is another good one. Like I would never invite a girl to my house for a first date. That's wild. Although the first time I met my current girlfriend, she came to my house, and that was the first time we met. So like that worked out really well. So there is exceptions to the rule.
You guys are a dating app relationship, right?
Dating, yeah. We were
originally
we were a hinge relationship.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we started off just as like a casual fling, and that was like very sort of what we just kind of were. And then we just like I just really started liking her. And we worked together really well, so we explored the idea of dating officially, and it's been over a year. And
woo.
Yeah.
What are you doing for Valentine's Day?
I don't know. Like we both bought each other flowers last year, which was cute.
That's
like
sweet.
I came home with flowers, then she came home with flowers, and that was kind of I don't know. I feel like Valentine's Day is a bit of a commercial like holiday. I just like the idea of just like I feel like Valentine's Day is one of those things where it's this, like when it comes to your birthday, you're only born like once. Like you only have one birthday a year kind of thing. And like
not if you're a Christian, #born again.
But I feel like Valentine's Day is just like I don't have one day where I express extreme love and gratitude for my partner. I do that like without needing any prompts kind of thing. So it just feels weird. It's like I do this a lot. Like I feel like doing it sporadically is like even nicer than doing it on Valentine's Day. Like just
I think that's really nice, but I do think it's a red flag if someone in the relationship forgets the date of Valentine's Day.
100%. You can't
That's
forget.
weird.
I thought I forgot the other day because you know how America has a different dates for shit?
Do they?
They have different like Father's Day days, different Mother's Day days.
That's weird.
Different Valentine's Day. I think
do you know they have different like season dates? Their seasons don't go off the same days. Their season goes off like the weather or something weird like that. It changes every year.
Really?
Yes. Is that not the weirdest thing you've ever heard?
Why each year you don't know when summer's coming?
Nah. Well, you do because it's written down somewhere, but it's not the same. Like we have a set. It's easy. It's what is it? It's December. Oh gosh, it's December till February.
Yeah, like summer ends like sometime in February, like early February or late February.
Wait, no, in Australia.
Yeah, summer
ends at the end of Feb.
Yeah, 28th of February.
Yeah, not like a random date.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh my gosh,
I just said
Dave,
I just said a random date because I couldn't remember what it was, but I'm pretty sure.
Well, yeah, Feb's one of those weird months that it ends earlier.
Yeah.
So that's confusing.
Oh, that's strange.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so did I tell you about that fire that happened?
Fire?
Yes, there was a massive fire in Chelt.
Oh, yeah.
In Chelt/Moorabbin.
The lithium shit?
Okay, so what happened was a lithium factory went ablaze, and it's probably still not out now. And the thing with lithium is you actually can't put it out like a normal fire because of the way that it is. It's energy burning itself off. So you essentially have to wait until the batteries die.
Or just drop sand and boron on them like they tried to do with Chernobyl.
Is that what they did?
They tried to fly helicopters and drop payloads of sand and boron, but like the helicopters just melted out of the sky and crashed.
Oh, wow.
Because they tried to fly over the reactor and they just went and just like fuck crashed.
Who is putting their hand up to do that?
Russians.
Oh, okay.
Well, like it's the Soviet Union. You don't really like put your hand up. You just get told what to do. Otherwise, die.
I'd be flying that helicopter all the way to Alaska, baby.
Fucking no.
I ain't doing that.
Flying out of here. But that's disgusting. Like, it's weird there's a lithium factory in Chelt.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that the Australia is trying to push for renewable energy. So, of course, there's not going to be like that much legislation about how to store these things or anything. So, yeah, we'll just put it in the middle of suburbia. That's fine. Yeah, I think the more that this stuff happens, the more legislation will get put through because actually, if you want to store lithium batteries, you basically have to put them in separate compartments from each other in a bunker that's like fireproof. So at the moment it's just...
That's gross.
Yeah.
And you saw that. So you were in Chelt working?
I was in Bunnings getting some stuff and I turned around and I was like, what is that big cloud of grey chat smoke? And a couple people from work had to go and block off the roads. Oh, really? My co-worker said to me he could taste the lithium.
Ew,
and he had to like swish coconut oil around his mouth to try and get rid of the taste.
I wonder how much years of his lifespan that took off.
So gross.
Yuck.
Horrible. That's got to be one of the worst things you can inhale.
Surely they should have worn PPE before doing that shit.
Well, I hope they would, but a lot of people don't bother with that. Yeah, especially if you're like a tradie and you're just around this stuff all the time. It takes time to put your mask, blah, blah, blah. People just get lazy.
Yeah.
You're not thinking about the long-term effects.
I have to remind myself every time. Like I was handling glyphosate again the other day because I ran out of my organic weed killer. I needed to spray some weed, so I asked one of the other landscapers. I'm like, "Can I get some glyphosate?" I'm like, "All right, gloves, mask," and like they don't give a fuck. It's like, "Here you go," like, and they're just like touching it with their fucking hands.
Oh, I hate it.
And I go, "All right," like, you know, I'm like, so "Is this weird?" And they're like, they spray it with no mask on, and I go, "You know, this is banned in like 21 countries," and they go, "Oh, is it?" And I go, "Yeah."
They don't know.
They don't care. Like, they don't care enough to know. But yeah, it's strange. Even like one dude I work with literally had testicular cancer, but still uses glyphosate with no PPE, which is insane. Really lovely guy, really like nice guy, but just like how could you not connect those dots? Some people don't care. I met a lady at the tobacconist the other day when I was trying to look for nicotine pouches, and she had a heart attack, and she's like just openly vaping. And she was like, she was talking to me about. She's like, "Oh, I had a heart attack last year." And I was talking to my doctor, and I said, "Which one's better? You know, like cigarettes or the vaping?" And the doctor's like, "Oh, I'd prefer you did none, but if you're going to do either, you should do the vaping." And she was like saying it as if like, "Yeah, like you know, the vaping's so much better than the tobacco." I'm like, "You had a fucking heart attack, and you're puffing on a vape. Like, are you fucked?" I've known a few people who have had like heart attacks or cancers, and they will not stop drinking or smoking.
Yeah, it's this attachment to the substance.
I don't know. It's just like this fetish with death in a way. Like I knew a bloke that had a heart attack and was pronounced dead for like 3 minutes because his heart stopped. And every day he drinks Canadian Club still.
What?
And like smokes cigarettes every day.
Yeah, because they'd rather die than have to give that up.
I don't know. It's just like...
I had a guy tell me we were on a date and
sad.
He was basically an alcoholic. And he said to me, "Oh, I want to be like one of those used tires in a car yard. Like one of those like old, just disgusting tires." He was like, "I want to be that." I was like, dude, like, why is that your goal in life?
See, this is why I can sort of sympathize with like eugenicists, because there's some people who are just bringing down the genetic gene pool of planet Earth and fucking everything up. Like, you know what a eugenicist
No, I have no idea what
eugenicist is like people like Bill Gates that want to genetically engineer humans to be like a better like super race of people. Like, and it's like they believe that like poor people are poor not because they're poor, because like they're born to be poor kind of thing. And it's like a lot of these things are in like embedded genetically in us. And it's like it's weird though, because then you meet people like that who just do not care about their body, and like those cunts have children, and it's like what are you passing on to like these people? And then like it's just fucking sad. There's all these just weird diseases and things that are just, I swear like every couple months I learn a new disease people have. Like I learned something called POTS, POTS.
Oh yeah, what's that again?
I don't even fucking know, but it's like a chronic fatigue.
It's a real weird
kind of thing. But it's like I never heard of that a year ago.
Have you ever heard of bot flies?
Butt flies.
Bot flies? B-O-T.
Nah.
They're like these flies in Africa and stuff, and they dig into your skin and lay eggs, and then like a couple weeks or months later, the eggs will hatch and like eat them. Yeah. I heard about that for the first time. I was on a plane and I just turned on this random doco. And it was in Canada. This kid woke up one day and couldn't see out of one of his eyes, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know what's going on." He went to the doctor. Doctor tries to like gaslight him hard. He's like, "No, I can't see." Anyway, a couple weeks down the line, they gave him an X-ray or something, and they were like, "Oh, you've got like a fly in your eye, like a larva in your eye."
So scary. Parasite.
That is
Yeah. To be a host victim to like a parasite is one of my biggest fears.
That's horrible.
It's just like that. Being a host is disgusting. Like a tapeworm is one of my biggest fears. Getting a tapeworm. Yeah. It's just like imagine something living inside of you, just feeding off of you, and you don't know. I'm pretty
sure we all have that though, a little bit.
I ain't got no tapeworms.
You've got something in your stomach for sure, or in your some organ.
I got healthy bacteria in my tum tum. I don't know about you. I got healthy gut bacteria in my.
Don't you think it's humbling to think that you might have something in there that you don't know about?
Not if I actively spend most of my life trying to avoid it. Then it's just like I fucking failed. If that's the case.
It's one of the reasons why I'm not that keen to go to India, because pretty much everyone I talk to that's gone to India has gotten some cooked as bacteria or disease that they just can't get rid of.
The air quality there is so bad. If you spend like 24 hours in the like open air, it's the equivalent of just like smoking like a pack of cigarettes.
Wow.
I know. Like Brian Johnson went to India to do a podcast and he had to leave because like he even brought an air filter into the room he was filming the podcast, and he had to leave early because the air quality index was getting too high, and he had to bail. Imagine that. Imagine me going, oh, sorry, the air quality in this room is fucked. I got to leave.
It's kind of an awesome thing to be able to say.
It is, yeah, a great thing to say. But yeah, like, people don't think about the air. Even when the fireworks are going off, I was tracking the air quality index on my on my phone.
That's a little bit far.
Not because I was just curious to see like how it would affected like
you're like, I can't even enjoy these fireworks.
It's fucking fireworks are polluting the air. Why we do this every year? There's sulfur in the air. Bullshit. But yeah, air quality is like a massive, massive global, catastrophe that people aren't really paying attention to. We've got pretty good air quality index here in Melbourne. Being close to the coast and the ocean helps a lot.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why I like being near the ocean or in the ocean, because it just feels so fresh. Everything's moving.
Could you imagine like being one of those oceans where trash is just washing up? Like, that's happening in like Indonesia everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's like they need like, I saw a video where like 8,000 people went down, they cleaned it. And they cleaned a lot, but it's just like, imagine if like Black Rock Beach just started washing up trash.
Oh, that just gave me a visceral feeling of yuck.
And that happens in a lot of countries around the world.
Yeah, I was looking up, I went down a tangent, I was bored at work one day, and not this job for anyone listening, but I was looking up dead rivers, biologically dead rivers, and I went through the top 10 dead rivers in the world, and they're disgusting. I think the number one is maybe in Jakarta or somewhere in Asia. And it was from all the textile factories run along that river. And so all the waste goes in there, and it's like, you look at it and it just, if you even touched it, it would probably give you some weird radioactive disease. Like, it's horrible. And the Thames in London used to be a biologically dead river. And as soon as they got that, label by the scientists, the city of London was like, nah, we're not putting up with that, and they fully did a clean up, and now it's one of the cleanest rivers.
I wonder how they cleaned it up. They want to do that to the Yarra
they
River.
put a bunch of like legislation in place that no more waste could go in.
Stop dumping toxic ingredients into it.
Yeah, it's possible to do. You just have to make it legal. I think a lot of things come down to policies.
There's like some river in America. I think they call it like the Cancer Highway,
Mississippi River.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of factories that go through this whole town, and it's like one factory after another, and there's this sort of river that it goes down, and like everyone that lives on the outskirts of these towns. I think what's his name? Tyler Oliveira on YouTube did a video about it, and he goes in like just the cases of cancer and respiratory issues around these towns. It's just astronomical.
It's also from glyphosate as well. Zach Bush talks about that a lot because he's this doctor that's basically worked out that a lot of diseases come from diet, but yes, you can fix the diet, but you can't fix the fact that there's glyphosate and there's not enough minerals in our food. And so he's now gone down to the soil, and it talks a lot about regenerative agriculture. Anyway, he talks about the Cancer Belt, which is essentially the Mississippi River, and all those insecticides, herbicides are going into the river and essentially poisoning people.
Yeah, there was some study from the Centers of Disease Control from 2022 that said 87% of children in the US have Roundup glyphosate in their urine.
Yeah, we would too.
How gross is that?
Sure. Like, yeah, it's everywhere.
My girlfriend's texting me being like, are you okay? Where are you? I forgot to tell her
I've got glyphosate poisoning.
Sorry, I've got glyphosate poisoning. Yes, baby. Oh, good.
Yeah, I hate the stuff. I've quit a job over glyphosate.
So valid.
They were spraying it every day for half a year and not using any PPE, getting it all over their bodies. They just did not care.
They had PPE. It was just too hot to wear.
Yeah, it was in the Northern Territory, so it was like 35 degrees every day, 90% humidity. You pass out if you wore the PPE. But I just said, I'm not doing this. This isn't this. Someone else can do it, basically.
There's other weed killers out there. You don't have to use Roundup.
Yeah, or just use drones to cut down the weeds.
That's very expensive. And there's because I work, I guess, weed killing for a fucking job. And there are some places I go to where I go like, okay, if I didn't have like 4 dudes with sprayers, this would take fucking weeks, like, to get rid of all these weeds.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not gonna be profitable in the long run. But it's going to be better for everyone in the long run.
100%. I reckon just more emphasis, like more focus on more organic weed killers that sort of don't stay in the soil. Because that's one annoying thing that I feel like when sometimes I spray Roundup when I run out. I go, this is staying in the soil. And this is going to like probably never leave the fucking soil. Which is sad.
Yeah, and into the water sources as well. In the Northern Territory, it's all water in the wet season. It all goes into the underwater basins. Like, it's so bad, the effects of it. If I were to ever do a PhD, I would do it on glyphosate and try to actually make some changes. Not that I'm going to do a PhD because I hate studying. But yeah. Do you have any news stories?
Yeah, I got a couple of news stories. I know
you've got news stories.
So you know that Pam the Bird?
Yes.
So they've like arrested the dude who is alleged to be the creator of Pam the Bird. He's a 21-year-old guy called Jack Gibson Burrell, and the other artist called SROCK, the dude I always post in the group chat who does those big pieces where it looks like he's abseiled down something. He got arrested too, and he's being accused of collaborating with Pam the Bird and is associated with doing those SROCK tags. His name's Matthew Rail White, who's 39. And just to give some ideas of where Pam the Bird, it's like this little shoebill bird character that's been tagged all around Melbourne City. Apparently it's been around for like numbers of years, but this one guy, Jack Burrell, allegedly he hit up Flinders, he Pam the Bird Flinders Street Station, the CityLink cheese stick that goes over the CityLink, the Novo Hotel in South Wharf, the 9 Network building, the concrete silo in Geelong. He's done over $230,000 worth of damage. And just to clean the Novo Hotel itself, apparently is going to cost $36,000. Cleaning Flinders Street Station will cost $24,000. Cleaning the cheese stick will cost $20,000. I don't know how it costs so much. It's like $20,000 to get a tag off a thing is. I guess you got to shut down the road, get scissor lifts. That all includes. But yeah, they raided his house, and the Victorian police are making a request to the FBI to make a request to Meta to hack into his an Instagram account called Good Bird Art, which is they believe it's got 70,000 followers, and it just posts stuff about Pam the Bird, and they believe he owns this.
Oh no, Meta, don't comply.
Yeah. Well, Mark Zuckerberg's trying to he talked a bunch of hot shit on Joe Rogan about being anti-censorship, being not wanting the law line with the government, but it's kind of hard to say no to the FBI. But it's fucking.
Is it the FBI or the Australian version of the FBI?
So the Australian Victorian police are making a request to the FBI. Like the actual FBI, so they can get access to this 21-year-old
The FBI's going to look at anything from Australia and be like, these guys freaking kidding themselves.
They're going to be like, they wanted for this fucking guy to
for a bird? Like, what?
But it's pretty crazy. They raided Mr. White's house, who's 39, who lives inside a paint shop in Abbotsford. And they found in his house 43 boxes of Lego, 7 boxes of golf balls, and 15 tennis rackets. So they believe he's done a bunch of robbery and stuff too. And this is one of
he just loves sports.
This is one of the quotes from the sergeant and one of the detectives in the case. The accused has no constructed Lego, nor does he express to be a Lego, golf, or tennis enthusiast. So apparently this Michael White, the guy who is SROCK, another guy he's done a couple Pam the Bird things, but not as much as this other dude. Apparently he spent 100 days in a US prison for graffiti crimes. He jumped off a moving train into a river to gain social media clout. And once when he was arrested for graffitiing, he ate his sketchbook in the back of a van. Like
wow.
like he somehow had his sketchbook on him, and then like to be like to remove the evidence, he started just eating bits of paper. In the back of the, what a wild boy! But they raided this paint shop place that he lived in. They found abseiling gear, ropes, track pants, and a fake beard.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fucking pretty
Sounds
sick,
about
man.
right. Yeah, no, it's cool. I actually heard about that guy that went to US prison, and apparently some of his supporters set up a GoFundMe and they raised like 60 grand to get him out.
Yeah, really.
And he was like, I'm not spending this money. Like, I'm just going to go to prison. It's 3 months. I don't care. And he gave a couple people the money back, actually.
True.
And apparently he loved it in prison. He was just doing sketches for people in there. Like, he was like loved in there.
Who was this?
The dude that went to US prison, the SROCK guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I feel like anyone who says they have a good time in prison is like mentally
But like,
deranged.
if you're like going to prison as a graffiti artist and you've pretty much fucked up an entire city, people are gonna love that.
Yeah, 100 days.
Because it's like, that's a cool crime.
It is cool, and just like the commitment to doing these pieces is so incredible. Like to abseil, and like their courts are trying to say, oh, he's risking the public safety. He might fucking drop something and kill someone, which is valid. But like he's done. I see SROCK pieces all through the city. I see Pam the Bird all through the city. I drive from the southeast to the western suburbs all the time. I see Pam the Bird everywhere. And like, I originally thought it was multiple people doing Pam the Bird. But
I think it is a little bit as well.
Yeah, this one detective seems to think it's all this one dude, and he's trying to do this like handwriting analysis thing. But like this guy's lawyer's like, that makes no sense, bro. It's a fucking bird.
Well, my mate was kind of talking about it in the way of, like it's almost like they're art critics, because the cops have entire departments that analyze the graffiti to try and catch these people. And so if you get their write-ups of the graffiti, it almost sounds like an art critic. Yeah. Like, the way they've used this cursive. Yeah,
it is.
No.
It is.
It's
exactly
so
like
good.
And it's like, and the Pam the Bird comes to a sharp point and does a 3-degree turn from halfway through, and like it's all the same.
This might represent the artist's disgrievances with the government. Where might they get? And it's like, that's so cool to think about.
And it's sort of how people sort of critique of something being like a real thing from an artist or like a fake version. It's like when you see people like critique like sneakers and they go, oh, this is off, so this can't be like a real one. It's like the same, they're trying to do the same thing of being like, all of these tags they're all done exactly like this, so they're all related to this guy. But I just think it's so crazy that Victoria Police is requesting FBI assistance to break into Meta for a bird account. But yeah, just shout out the Melbourne graffiti scene.
Yeah, shout out.
It's one of the cool things about Burn City. Like,
we played Celebrity Heads the other day, and one of the guesses was Pam the Bird. Like, he had to guess Pam the Bird, and he's like, am I a bird? Can I fly? Wait, what do you mean I can't fly?
Pam the Bird can fly. He gets up in some pretty
yeah,
cool
Pam
spots.
the Bird can go everywhere.
The one at the Novo Hotel is crazy. I drive past it all the time. I'll show you a photo. It's actually nuts. I'll pop it up on screen if I can be bothered to edit it in.
But yeah, you're right. Shout out to Melbourne graffiti. It's so funny how Melbourne as a city is all about, street art and come see the art and the culture, but as soon as that's like outside of their legal graffiti walls, it's all of a sudden not okay. Oh, wow. What does it say?
It says hee hee meow.
There's one on the highway that's Pam the Bird, and it's got a little text bubble saying, I'm so quirky.
Yeah, and there's this one that was on the silo plastics thing. It's like, this is my city, bitch. Like,
oh, that's good.
Oh, no.
Kind of looks like Perry the Platypus.
It says, this is my city. It does look like Perry the Platypus. It's
the same colours. I miss Perry the Platypus.
It looks like an indigenous, like, character. I've seen that one. That one's...
It is indigenous. Pam the Bird's part of the songlines, didn't you know?
Pam the Bird is not part of the songlines. Pam the Bird is a shoebill bird.
Pam the Bird's folklore now.
Apparently the lore of Pam the Bird is a shoebill bird based off a writing someone did in grade 3, and Pam was their teacher.
Oh,
and then it just became
really
it just
cute.
started.
I hope Pam's cute. Proud. I really hope she's proud.
Oh, it's just funny. I love how this dude's like, this Pam the Bird guy's 21, but the Michael White guy's like 40 years old.
Yeah, that's so common in graffiti culture though.
Just getting
like, it doesn't matter about age. It's more just about your common interest.
About culture.
Yeah, there's a real camaraderie in there, which is nice.
Just everything from like the GH Get Hectic crew to Jizzo to Pam the Bird. Like, Melbourne's got such a rich like counterculture for graffiti.
Yeah,
Do you watch the Jizzo documentary?
No, I don't think so.
Gotta watch the Jizzo. It's just like this fucking junkie dude called Jizzo, and he's like used to paint so many trains back in the day, and like this one guy just made a documentary about him, and growing up we just loved Jizzo like quotes and phrases from this documentary. It's still on YouTube.
I think I remember the name. Do you remember any quotes?
Fresh. You can't. And then they came into my house. Oh, go on. It's like, everyone's probably thinking this guy's chat. He smokes out of an orchie from home, brother.
What's an orchie?
It's like a homemade plastic bong.
Oh, I miss Gaty bongs.
Yeah, it's
they were better than any glass bong.
Fuck no. I love how all the plastic bongs I smoked and all that. My first Instagram account was literally called Poking Holes in Foil, because whenever we didn't have a comb piece, I'd get tin foil, poke holes in it, put a rubber band around it, make a bong out of that. But now it's just like to go from that to being like I'm thinking of doing a blood test to find out how much microplastics is in my blood. Literally. And like filtering my water and shit. It's just
it comes back and it's like, oh, you got tin foil in your blood.
You got alfoil in your bloodstream, in your pancreas. What the fuck? It's pretty nuts.
The thought of doing a bong now, I think I would lose my mind.
I like dabs. Dabs still attract me, but yeah, the idea of doing a bong, like anything carbon based in my lungs.
What do you mean carbon based? Like, is a dab not carbon?
Dab's a form of vapor, so there's no carbon involved.
What's the carbon? Like the smoke?
Carbon's like when it's sort of burnt, or it's a process of combustion. So if you're burning it and it's like turning like black, essentially, that's carbon.
So what would you call the vape? Vapor?
Vapor, yeah.
Mm.
It's more
is
like
there
it's oil-based and vapor-based.
Element in there?
What do you mean element?
I really wanted to sound smart. I just wanted to sound smart.
What do you mean?
Don't look at me.
An element?
Like, you know how carbon's an element? And
I guess you could...
would you say H2O?
Yeah.
H2O based?
Maybe. You would probably...
I'm so sorry. That just didn't hit like I thought it would.
I get what you're saying, but I know there probably is an element to it, but I can't.
Oh my gosh, we need to talk about the planetary alignment.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that?
No.
It was crazy.
Was that why the sun was looking so hectic last night?
No, I don't know what the go was with that. That was like apocalyptic.
It was like
shit.
Red and like perfectly circled.
It was beautiful.
You could like see all the curvature of the sun. It wasn't like bright.
No, I don't know. I think that might have just been the weather.
Sure, that's what they were the alignments.
Yeah, I mean it's a planet, so I'm sure it was like aligning. It wasn't. I don't know, maybe, but you could see Jupiter. You could see all the planets. Some of them with the naked eye, you could see Jupiter.
True. When did this happen?
This has been the last week and a half. It like the crux of it was probably on the 23rd to the 25th of January, but it was insane. I wish I had a telescope, but even with the naked eye, you could literally see the planets being aligned. It was amazing.
Good time to contact UFOs.
Yeah, well, I'm sure someone probably did. I don't know.
I'm in a sick Facebook group for that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's called CE5. It's based off Stephen
Greer. Oh, you love that.
Stephen Greer. I haven't done it in years. It's based off Stephen Greer, who's like a ufologist kind of guy, and it's all about human-initiated contact with extraterrestrial crafts and beings, and it's a form of meditation. But there's this group, it's like 2,000 people deep, and it's CE5 Victoria, and they host these like meetups where you all get into a circle and you'll fucking meditate. You try to see orbs in the sky. They post genuinely interesting videos. Like this one guy posted like this red orb flying over Carrum Downs Beach, which is really close to my house, and he was doing CE5, and then it's like he's like filming the sky, and it's like a red orb that just like floats over the sky, and it's like really low to the ground. It's not a satellite. The satellites don't emit like different colors and shit like that, and it's interesting. And a lot of the CE5 people report the same things, where they see these floating orbs, and some of them are yellow, some of them are green, some of them are red. They're not SpaceX satellites and none of that. They're just genuine floating orbs. Sometimes they flash and they go really bright and then they just disappear. And they do it when they're trying to see them, which I think is the most interesting part of it. And it's just like, I don't know. I have this theory that like some like UAPs, UFOs, sort of phenomenon like that is sort of manifested by the human experience. Like there could be these sort of things that pop in and out of dimensions. They're not really piloted by like a grey alien sitting in there, but it could be like we're accessing a different like realm in our head, and we're sort of creating this phenomenon to happen. And then it's like, it is essentially extraterrestrial, but maybe the craft itself is conscious and it's appearing in and out of us when we're interacting with it consciously. That's my theory. And that's maybe why some people see, some people don't, because maybe it only appears to you.
I like that theory because meditation can get you into such different states of consciousness, and it might not be bringing something actually physical there, but it
is tapping in.
Yeah, it's that dimension. I think I lean more towards that. idea as well. I'm not sure how I feel about aliens.
I have so many different theories.
I just don't think it's really going to make a huge difference to my life whether they exist or they don't.
You wouldn't want to see. You feel like if you were to interact with one or see
I'd
one,
love to see one. No,
I feel like I'd be like, I don't know what I'd do.
Well, yeah, it depends if they told me something or not.
I'd fuck my life up though. I might just become all in on that, and it's like the only thing I ever talk about ever again.
Yeah,
and I'll be craving another experience. What if you just see one, you never see one ever again?
I think you just have to take it for face value. It's like, okay, I've seen it, and so it exists. But am I really able to do anything with this information that's actually going to benefit my life? Probably not.
I would love to sort of develop a meditation practice like CE5 where it is trying to do a form of astral projection or contacting extraterrestrial beings and trying to do human-initiated contact. Because I reckon there is something to that of like disclosures happening, that aliens, some people believe they're already here and they already sort of live among us, but it's like they're only interacting with like the military because like they're the only spokesperson the governments are allowing to sort of interact with these beings because they need to assess the threat levels. But that's why Stephen Greer's work's great, because it's like fuck those people. You can do this yourself and you can have these human-initiated contacts with these beings. You don't need to trust these military complexes to do it for you. You can just do it yourself. And some of the experiences he's had in the photos he's taken with these groups, there was even one where it was like a literal rainbow serpent was like came down amongst this group, and apparently they took photos and it was like a whole group of this actual light being. And I don't know how much I believe in that shit, but these people like have these experiences and they even have like photos of them and stuff, which is nuts.
What would you say to an alien if you met an alien?
I don't know, like...
Would you ask them? What would you ask them?
I'd just be like, where you from? Sort of thing. I'd like,
hey, how's it going? Like having a really awkward interaction with an alien.
Like, have you lived on Earth, maybe underwater this whole time? Are you from a different star system? I would try and just like figure out how the communication works. Like, is it telepathic? I'd just be like, what can you show me? What can you teach me? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an interesting concept. Because I feel
Imagine if aliens came to Earth needing our help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Imagine like aliens are just the only advanced thing they kind of can do is like space travel.
Yeah, exactly.
But everything else they're pretty like basic with. It's like we're really
That'd be so disappointing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like they've figured this one thing out, but like they're all dying at age like 35 from like curable diseases.
And it's like, oh, maybe space travel isn't really going to be the answer that we need. It's just sort of another thing that we can do.
Another piece
that would be so depressing for all those billionaires.
Yeah.
So they'd be like, oh, actually, maybe I have to like work on myself now.
I watched the Starship SpaceX launch the other day.
Oh yeah,
live, which was cool.
How'd that go?
Pretty sick. It was like the biggest rocket they've ever launched so far. And like the one that goes up, the pod detaches, it comes back down, and it gets caught by those chopsticks. Like
chopsticks.
It's like a big structure frame they build, because you know how the rockets used to sort of land. And they'd land on a platform.
Yeah.
Now they've figured out they build this big structure with these two prongs that come out, and the rocket just gets caught like it's a basketball net.
Oh, that's so cute.
And they just catch it.
That's so cute.
And it's this thing that's like multiple. It's like the size of a building, and they're just catching it.
I like that.
I think it's better than it like touching the ground. It just catches it in midair.
Because they can, aren't they starting to reuse the launcher? Is that what that is doing?
They've done that for a while. Yeah, they've been doing that for like a while now.
So sustainable of them.
Yeah, so sustainable. And it's just like so much cheaper. And that's why we can have things like what's it called? The fucking satellite internet thing that Musk started that you put on your van and stuff. What's it called?
Starlink.
Starlink, yeah. That's why we can have stuff like that, because you can just now shoot so many more satellites up to the sky.
That's cool.
And now we can have internet.
I don't really have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with all this SpaceX stuff. I think it's great. Why not? Get out there.
There's fucking nothing out there anyway. It's just like,
go have a look.
I want to start shooting our rubbish out there.
Oh, yeah. Why have we not done that?
Like, who the fuck cares? Just like, there's a Futurama episode about that. Isn't the Futurama episode about that?
No, I never really got into Futurama. Maybe a little bit.
They shoot all their rubbish out there back in like the mid-2000s, but then like it orbited and it's like coming back.
Oh, lol.
And they have to shoot like something else out there to kill, to like destroy it.
No, but seriously, okay, how could that work? Would you put it all into a massive spaceship?
Yeah.
Because I don't reckon just put all individual pieces up into space. That sounds lame.
Yeah.
I reckon put it into a spaceship.
I reckon the best thing you'd do is build some crazy structure that's like a giant vacuum out to space, and you can just like chuck things in, and it goes vroom, and it just gets like sucked out of orbit into the fucking space. You have to shoot a rocket.
Yeah, but it would just suck everything into it.
You have to turn it on. You have to close the door or something. I don't know. It'd be fucking sick.
Yeah, why not? Space vacuum, just make a big black hole.
You got anything else you wanna talk about?
No, I didn't. No, there's not really much that has caught my eye. I mean, I've been religiously following the Justin Baldoni Blake Lively case. I don't know if you've even heard about that.
I haven't heard about that.
I'm obsessed. I'm weirdly really into pop culture. Essentially, Blake Lively played Serena in Gossip Girl, and Justin Baldoni is most known for his role in Jane the Virgin. Anyway, they did a movie together that was an adaptation of a book called It Ends With Us. And they were the two main characters, and Justin Baldoni was the director. But Blake Lively basically took over his entire role, took over the movie. He wasn't allowed to go to the premiere. She made all his family and friends go into the basement during the premiere, and she's now put this lawsuit against Baldoni saying that he was abusive and sexually cooked. And that's
so unlike Hollywood.
Yeah, I know. How weird. It's not like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard did that recently. But yeah, and he's come back with a countersuit of $400 million. And he's got
much money.
All this evidence against her, proving that what she's saying is BS.
400 mil's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. But also, I mean, it's probably a little bit above what he should be owed. But at the same time, if this could be the end of his career, how much could he have made in that time? And she completely steamrolled him, gaslit him, made him feel so powerless when it was his movie that he was directing. He didn't even get to see the final cut.
So which team are we repping?
I'm Baldoni all the way.
Baldoni,
I think there's nuances, but from what I've heard, Lively has been really difficult to work with for a really long time.
Pick a side.
And also Ryan Reynolds gives me dodgy vibes as well.
I've never understood his appeal.
I don't either. He kind of just looks like
The Matrix just pushes people to be famous. It's did you watch the Grammys?
Yeah.
I was watching clips of the Grammys.
Oh my gosh, Beyonce winning the country award pissed me off.
Yeah.
Bitch,
she
what?
kind of just appropriated country, eh?
There's so many other amazing country artists.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense. But yeah, with this case, I'm definitely on Baldoni's side because there's just so much evidence. Unless she comes out with something huge, I don't see how she's going to win. You should definitely look into it. It's addictive.
Yeah, those court dramas are so addictive. I watched so much of the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case.
Really?
I watched so much. I thought it was fucking very entertaining.
I didn't follow that well, but I wish I did.
I like watching the lawyer battles in court and how they object to things and all of that. And it's just it was so weird because I thought I thought cameras weren't even allowed in a courtroom. How are you live streaming?
Yeah.
How are you live streaming this?
I think it depends on the state that it's in. But what side were you on?
I was on Depp's side because that chick's nuts, Amber Heard. She's insane.
Do you think she had any leg to stand on at all?
Well, she got caught lying a lot. So I feel like if you get caught lying a couple times, it's okay, can I believe anything that you say?
Yeah.
It's if you're going to come to a courtroom, you got to kind of tell the truth.
It's just such a shame because there's so many women that go through violence and abuse and they're not believed. And then there's people like Amber Heard and possibly Blake Lively that do this stuff that just ruin it for everyone else.
Yeah. Then again, I feel like those types of relationships where you live in the Hollywood Hills and you're both super, super wealthy. It's just there's fault in every relationship when things get that toxic. It's just even if I feel even if you have a partner who's getting insane and toxic, it's just how have you allowed it to get this far? Kind of thing. It's just as much as they shouldn't be doing that to you, you've also not left her at you don't just wake up one day and go, wow, you're a completely different person. What happened to you? I know people who have been in a 3-4 year marriage and then their wives just absolutely clean them out, taking the kids, and they tell these stories as if one day they just woke up and they were a different person. It's how did you not see the red flags in front of you? You need to people need to take full accountability for their situations, and I feel if you're just in a situation like that, there were probably a lot of warning signs that you overlooked. And it's why did you overlook them? And I've been in situations
but that's kind of victim blaming, isn't it?
It is. And it's just a little bit.
You don't, I mean, you've been in that situation before.
Yeah, but I also like blame
talk
myself.
to like, why did you stay?
Because it was exciting. The drama can be exciting. Sometimes you can over prioritize things. You can be a slave to your desires, and like you can be a slave to having like the sex that you think is good, or you can be a slave to the attention that you might be getting, or you can be a slave to the idea of. I've even like entertained very toxic male friendships, and I've let them run their course far longer than I should have, simply because I've always wanted a strong male friend, and I've put up with like them treating me like shit and just like suspicious stuff because I've wanted and I've romanticized the idea of the type of friendship that I've always wanted. And it's just like, at the end of the day, it doesn't excuse these people and some of the behaviors that they do, but it's also at the end of the day, I feel like it's more, you're giving more power to yourself if you reflect back on that situation and just go, instead of going, they were so mean to me, you go, yeah, they were fucked, but like, how can I put myself in a situation where I make sure I never allow that to happen to me ever again, kind of thing. Yeah. But there are some situations where some people are genuine sociopaths and they are very smart and they are very manipulative. Like, I'm not taking that away from some people who get into situations with the best intentions and they do get blindsided, or people are very conniving. But there's a lot of situations where it's like, yeah, could have fucking left this.
It is crazy when people are in the same situation over and over and over.
Yeah.
It's like, just give it a break. Give relationships a break, even if you have to, because it's like your pattern is to keep getting into this bad situation.
Yeah. It's like I see Bad Baby pops up on my fucking social media feed every now and then with the same baby daddy that's beating the shit out of her, and then like a couple months later she's like defending him, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I was just like, how much can someone feel sorry for you if you're just like allowing this to be happen, going to social media, talking about it, letting it happen again?
I think that's the thing.
You've also got money for lawyers and all this shit.
Love is so hard because it's so hard to come by. People will do anything to stay with that person because you've never felt this connection before. And I think that's a big reason why people stay as well.
It's a self-esteem thing, I think, too. Some people don't have enough respect and esteem for themselves that they think this is the best I can do.
We're also, for anyone that's listening to this and thinking, oh, they're being really shit, it's like this is not people that can't get out of the situation. This is not people that are like tied in with kids or money, blah, blah, blah. This is from the perspective of like subconsciously, why are people bringing, it's like
take off the rose-colored glasses a little bit and sort of like identify toxic behaviors in your life, stop prioritizing the potential of what this person might become and just look at...
Oh, that's a big one.
Look at the situation in front of you and be like, this is not okay. But some people don't really have a metric of what okay is. Some people, like if you've not been grown up and you've not really observed what a healthy relationship should look like, sometimes your metrics can be all types of fucked up.
It's so hard to heal from that, I feel. Because like for me, I would say I've probably avoided relationships for the past 5 years. But the other end of that is what you're talking about, is going back into these toxic people, and it comes from being shown bad relationships from when you were a kid. And it's like, how do you actually heal from that? Yes, you go to therapy and you can be aware, but these things are so subconscious and it relates to what you're familiar with, what you're comfortable with, that of course you're going to keep attracting this. I think it comes from boundaries in the beginning of being like, this person's shown me a red flag. I'm not even actually going to keep giving them the time of day because this is what they're showing. This is who they are. I'm going to believe them. Yeah,
boundaries are super important. Having like an expectation of what you want your relationship to sort of look like. It doesn't have to be so rigid that people have to fall into this scope, but like having the boundaries of like, okay, if they do this, that's a hard no. That's a deal breaker kind of thing. And also just like evaluating your relationship often kind of thing of like, how do I feel a month from now, 2 months, 6 months from now, and sort of really sort of listening to yourself and what you're feeling. Also just like having friends around you, observing what good relationships look like. What do you think you kind of want? But then again, it's just so hard because so many people fake their relationships online. People are living like unrealistic expectations of what a genuine working relationship kind of is. So, but I don't know. It's just so hard because like life can be boring and toxic people can be very exciting as well. So it's just like it can play into like fetishization and kinks, and
it's so
it can be like adrenaline rushing, and you can have all these oxytocin mixed in with adrenaline, and you can you can pretend that it's like, you know, it's fun and it's exciting and you can work through this. But I think it's just like also just experience. Like, it's so, like, I feel like the world we live in today is so much different to the world we lived in 100 years ago, where like the stakes that were on you maybe 100 years ago, with the financial pressure, the lack of social media was so different. Whereas I feel like, I don't know if it was like you're more likely to date a toxic person 100 years ago compared to now, but I feel like you got to have your wits about you a lot more kind of now, and you got to kind of have a lot of dating experience so you know, okay, everyone in this current generation can be swindled by all these external pressures that are fighting for their attention, misconstruing their ideas of like what they think is what they should looking for in a partner for the right or the wrong reasons. So you got to kind of really sort of just know when to cut it out and be like, that relationship was not the best, but I learned this, and you go through these situations where you date a lot of people. And I'm a sort of advocate for not like running through people, but having a lot of dating experience. So you can take all the aspects of different people, whether it's the, like, you know, the things that attracted you about them physically or like personality wise. And you can sort of create an archetype of a person that is like a safe idea for you of like what you want them to have and what you don't want them to have, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think relationships are really good for that. It's like Build-A-Bear for your ultimate life partner.
but the idea of just like, no, I've had like probably over 9, I feel like, genuine committed relationships, and that's outside of just like flings and stuff like that. And I feel like it's served me well in sort of identifying what I want. I feel like as a child of divorce as well, you end up being so much more picky because you don't want to like sort of repeat the same mistakes of like picking the wrong person because you've like lived under what that was kind of like for so long. But yeah, I don't know. But I'm also fucking loving and jealous of those people who just like meet their high school sweetheart.
Oh, I wish I was that.
Get married. I don't know what's better though. I don't know which is better. It sounds good on paper.
I don't know if there's any sense of better or worse. I think it's just whatever works.
It's not a different journey in different situations and all of that.
Yeah. I think from my perspective, I'm getting over being single. So I can like objectively say it's better being in a relationship that's like a happy, healthy relationship.
It's so good. Like coming home to my partner is just the best
feeling ever.
I have someone I can go to the gym with. I like work with my partner now because we do content together. We hustle, we build each other up, and just the mannerisms and the humor and stuff you develop in that little ecosystem is just so nice.
Yeah.
And it just like makes life easier. Like you can rent a house with them and it's just better financially, and it's just you now have 2 incomes towards like your goals, and it's just a good unit. It's just like
Centrelink loves you.
Centrelink
if you're in a relationship as well. They're like, who are you dating? Tell us now.
Are you in a de facto? Can we cut you off yet? Like,
it's so scary.
It is so fucking
Speaking of cutting off, I think we should wrap up.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. That was a good segue as well.
I didn't have much to really... I came in pretty frazzled because I was like about to finish work and I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta be here like at 3:30. So I wasn't really like calm and collected. Didn't even like... I got my work shirt inside out here. But I feel like it was pretty good.
No, we nailed that. I can't wait to listen back to it.
Sweet. Just listen back to the last one.
Yeah, of course.
I listened to it in bits, but I haven't listened to it in its entirety. But I want to start this thing where I listen back to it and I have like a journal and I write notes.
Write notes, yeah.
Of like what I did here, because it's funny listening to yourself in the third person. Sometimes like you'll do something and go, oh, why did I do this when I could have said this? It's just, I feel like that's such an underrated practice of recording your long form conversations and listening back to them and analyzing the way you talk. It's literally just like I feel it feels like how a football player analyzes like a play they did in a game, and they like go back and they watch it and they go, oh, I could have done this here, but it's for the art of communication and conversation, which is sick. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Lotus Pod. Listening. Make sure to like and subscribe and give us a follow on Spotify.
Yeah.
And take care of yourself and drink water.
Bye.